Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the mid-progress report for January 2022. We've got four main topics to discuss today. We've got a pre-battle screen. We've got Momotaro, the first hero of the game from Okayama Prefecture. We've got the Hiyakumaizon, the 100 Mountains of Japan. And we've got some playtesting. So let's get into it. First up, we've got the pre-battle screen. So let's take a look. There are four main topics here in the pre-battle screen. So let me just get this started. So we've got a design tool here for prototyping our game. And what we're looking at here is we've got a challenge difficulty at the top here. 1, 2, and 3 stars. This will change the difficulty of the battle for the player. And what this affects is the unit budget here in the top left corner. So the unit budget determines how many heroes that you can place on the screen or in the battle. So with a budget of 12, each of these lands has a different cost for placing a unit. So we can look at Mochizuki. That'll cost us 4 points to place her there. Maybe some more valuable lands. This is mountains and forests. So this has a unit cost of 5. And as you can see, the budget goes down. Easier levels, we have more unit budget available. Next, we have some upgrades here on the left-hand side. Upgrades are basically divided into 3 different categories. So one category is the battlefield upgrades. Essentially, the player will always be able to purchase these upgrades, although we might add some tech tree component to this to determine which upgrades are available and not available as the player levels up. But you could buy a full shield and place that on this, or perhaps we want to build a tower and place it on this, and that uses battle points. And so something like this, where we've run out of battle points, it means that we can't afford to buy the tower. Next, we have blessings from the worlds. As the player explores the different sections of the various prefectures, they'll find temples and old hermits and this character and that character, so on and so forth, and they'll be able to purchase or acquire blessings from those different characters or different regions in the world map, and then the player will be able to use those blessings and whatnot here in the battle screen. So just one example is Nature Boom 2, and you'll be able to place that on one hero, or maybe it affects all heroes. Next up, we have shrines, temples, blacksmith, and magic guild, and this is the third category of buffs and debuffs. And essentially, as the player's city levels up, as you level up your blacksmith, or you level up your mage guild, or you build temples and shrines, those different buildings will offer different rewards and buffs here, and so the player will be able to level up those things. And it's not decided yet, but probably these things are either going to cost battle points, or maybe it's blacksmith points, or some in-game currency that is necessary in order to use these skills and buffs in the pre-battle screen. And then once combat's set up and ready to roll, you can start combat, and combat proceeds as expected. And that is it for the pre-battle screen. Next, we've got Momotaro. So this will be the first hero of JpnMana, starting in Okayama Prefecture. He's a famous folklore kind of legendary character. So Momotaro is a peach boy, is another name. So he was born from a peach that an old couple finds out in the mountains. They bring him home, they raise him. He ends up becoming a strong warrior, essentially, and goes off to defeat a demon that lives on an island. So in any case, starting the game in Okayama, it seems only fitting that we start with Momotaro as the main character and the first hero that the players begin with. And so we have him now implemented in the game. Interesting side note, in some English versions of the story, he has a large mallet and a cloak of invisibility, whereas in the Japanese version, it was difficult to find any reference, for me anyway, about that portion of the story. But in any case, that will be the first hero of JpnMana, and he is now implemented. So next up, we have the Hiyakumaizon. So this is 100 famous mountains of Japan. So there's a famous mountaineer, Kyuya Fukada, who basically identified the 100 best mountains for hiking. And he's pretty well known in Japan. and certainly among hikers. And I, being someone that enjoys quite a bit of hiking myself, it seemed only fitting that I include the Hiyakumaizon inside JpnMana as one of the characteristics or attributes of Japan that the player can learn about. So basically, I'm going to put 100 of these mountains in the locations where those mountains are, and then when the player explores those lands, they'll do something at that location that's related to these mountains, and whether it's different combats that are particularly difficult, or if there's certain blessings for the world, so on and so forth. That's yet to be decided, but we'll be doing something with Hiyakumaizon and the player exploring the lands that those 100 mountains exist in. And last but not least, we have some playtesting going on coming up. So we have now Momotaro implemented. He will be the first hero. We have 2 more heroes that the player will pick up in Okayama. So those will be implemented shortly. And we have a list of progression for the 20 or 30 or so battles that we have planned for Okayama Prefecture before the player is able to fully explore all of Okayama Prefecture. So with those 30 battles basically documented on paper and ready in design, we want to play those 30 battles now and see what levels the player should be at what point. Like, what level should the monsters be at this point? Now, at battle 9, we're introducing the second hero. What level should that hero be? What level should Momotaro be? What level should the monsters be? So on and so forth. And then, how those world blessings should play a role, or city blessings, so on and so forth. So we're going to start doing the playtesting on that, and we'll see how that goes. Thanks for tuning in. That'll do it for this bi-weekly update on YouTube. If you're interested in the progress and continued development of JpnMana, you can check out any of the 3 links below. So we post a weekly blog, a bi-weekly dev blog on Reddit, and we're also active on Twitter and Facebook. And that'll do it for this time. Thanks again.